Man Wes here, and welcome to Day 16 of Shocktoberfest 2021. We're on the second half of this stretch, folks, and you know what? I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have. I mean, we've had a lot of good movies. We've had some movies that are kind of stinkers. But today we've got one that is actually a little bit middle of the road. Today we are going to be talking about Dario Argento's 1985 classic, Demons. This movie takes place in downtown Berlin, where a young woman named Cheryl is riding the subway, and she finds this man in black walking around in the hallways at the subway station, and he gives her a movie ticket. Kind of weird, but then she asks him, "Hey, can I have a ticket for my friend too?" So she meets up with her friend Kathy. They go to what's known as the Metropole Theater, one that they've never heard of before, something odd, something obscure, but they decide they're going to go. And Kathy's a little worried because maybe it might be a horror movie that they're going to go to, because she hates horror movies. Well, how bad could it be, right? Oh, it gets bad, but not in a bad way, just in a scary way. While they're going to the theater, a group of other people are coming in, much like there's a group of best friends, a boyfriend and girlfriend, a married couple celebrating their anniversary, even a pimp with two of his ladies of the night, as they say sometimes. But, you know, I'm not going to say specific words because, hey, I'll probably get flagged if you know what I mean. So while everybody's conglomerating into the lobby, one of the ladies notices a metal mask hanging from a ninja sword on display, and she decides she's going to put it on and scare her other friend, and the mask accidentally cuts her in the face. Doesn't know why, she just says, "Ow, that really sucks," and, you have to wonder, what did you learn? Oh, she's going to learn something very, very serious in a little while. So then they're all sitting in the theater and watching a movie, and wouldn't you know it, it's a horror movie. Foreboding in the process. Well, the horror movie that they're watching has to deal with a group of kids looking around an area that has to deal with Nostradamus, the man who would predict the future. Well, they come across the same mask that's in the lobby of the theater, and one of the guys in the movie decides he's going to put it on, and it scratches his face. And they find out in the relics with the information that they figure out, it says, you put on the mask, you become a demon. Well, the woman Rosemary that put the mask on earlier starts freaking out, and she goes into the bathroom, and guess what? Yep, she becomes a demon, and she starts running amok on some people in the theater. One of her friends, Carmen, finds her in the bathroom and gets attacked, and her throat gets slashed. And oh, this is very much like an Evil Dead or kind of a Romero trilogy situation. You get attacked, you get scratched, you get bit, you get ripped open. Yeah, you're going to become a demon too. So all hell breaks loose in this theater, and everybody starts becoming demons and killing each other off left and right and trying to escape. Meanwhile, Cheryl, the girl that we talked about at the beginning of the movie, meets a young man named George before the movie starts, and they end up running around this whole theater trying to survive. Meanwhile, a group of punks are driving around town in Berlin, and they come by the movie theater and see what's going on. They try to have a little fun of their own, and then they get killed off too. At some point, George and Cheryl are trying to escape the theater. They get up onto the top of the building. They meet the man in black that gave Cheryl the damn tickets in the first place, and she kills him by shoving a pole right through his body. So, little lackluster, but it is what it is. Anyways, they're able to escape the town when they find out that most of Berlin has been infected by this demonic possession. They meet a ragtag group of people at the end in a truck, drive away, and we find out at some point Cheryl got attacked, and she turns into a demon and is shot off the side of the truck with a shotgun, and George is the sole survivor that we know of. So that's Demons in a nutshell. I mean, it is a decent movie. I mean, there are things that I like and there are things that I don't like about it. First off, we're just going to talk about what I don't like. To be honest, the movie does have a lot of high impact energy with the jump scares and just that sense of cat and mouse chasing around throughout the whole entire film. However, midpoint through the movie, when a lot of the main ensemble cast is getting killed off and turned into demons and then eventually disposed of, it does tend to drag on a little bit. So that's my biggest issue of the movie, to be honest. And also, I hate to say it, even the punk gang that comes in and tries to have a little fun of their own and then gets dispatched, It's very reminiscent to 1979's George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, where the group of the gang members come to the mall and try to have fun, and then they get picked off while trying to harass the sole survivors and kill zombies and try to raid the mall. Again, fun fact is, Dario Argento did the music for the original Dawn of the Dead in 1979 with his band Goblins, so maybe he might have taken some inspiration from that movie to put into this one, because what this movie is very much like Dawn of the Dead, and both of these movies, what I love about them is there's that sense of isolation, that there is no escape, that you are basically running around trying to find an exit, but it's like literally impossible. And that is so cool because it makes that intensity of fear and suspense so much more. You know that there's something lurking around the corner, you just don't know which corner it's going to be, and you don't know exactly when it's going to happen. So yeah, maybe there might be moments that drag a little bit, but at least the jump scare is worth it in the end. But however, just the intensity eventually did fizzle out. But what I also love about this movie is there are a lot of hidden Easter eggs at the beginning of the film around the theater. They've got a lot of posters. One in particular, because this came out in 1985, so there are some movies and whatnot, like there was a 1984 poster of the Terminator. There is one from the early 1900s of a movie known as Metropolis, where it talks about like the big metal woman, the big gold woman, the robot woman, or whatever. I haven't watched the movie in a long time, so bear with me, folks. I am going to go back and do my research on that movie for a future review, just so I can make up for that little, flub right there. Another thing is there's some horror movie tropes with posters on there. There's a poster of concept art for the 1980s Creepshow. There's also one for Nosferatu. So, I mean, honestly, Dario Argento is a big fan of horror and a big fan of science fiction, so there's a lot of Easter eggs at the beginning of the film that he wanted the audience to kind of pick up on. And another thing that I like about this film is the integration of the movie that we're watching with the movie that the audience in the film is watching, like a movie within a movie. We've done this before, right, folks? But anyways, I like it because there was that kind of foreboding moment where Rosemary gets scratched on her face with the mask, and then the person in the movie that they're watching gets scratched, and then all of a sudden you start putting two and two together going, uh-oh, it's going to happen. And then the moment that she leaves, it's that almost wait for it moment for us as the audience watching the movie, the whole movie itself. And honestly, that's just kind of, and the special effects that they used, I mean, though some would call it primitive at the time, very innovative as well. I mean, to be honest, doing some research in this movie landed at least, I believe it was $1.2 billion worldwide throughout its whole longevity now, being I believe it was the 35th or 37th highest grossing horror film of all time, beating out Cat's Eye and also beating out the original Nightmare on Elm Street. So, hey, you know what? Though it may not have the best reviews back then, it's made a damn lot of money, and that's all that matters in some people's eyes, right, folks? Now, the acting in this movie, it's not bad. I mean, the reason why I say it's not bad is because a lot of the actors that are in here were normally speaking Italian or German in the original dub or the original cut. This one I watched was the English dub, where there are some people that do speak English throughout the movie, but there are others that don't. And sometimes it's kind of hard to mix and match. So, obviously, it's not that the actor's performance is bad. Sometimes dubbing can get a little bit, a little rough with some of the overacting when the voice doesn't match the body expression. So I'm gonna turn my eye on that one. You know, you get a pass on this one, Dario. One thing I noticed about this movie is, though it being directed by Dario Argento, his band Goblins didn't actually do the music for this movie. It was actually a man named Claudio Simonetti, and to be honest, his music is right up there with Goblin, and actually it almost sounds better. And not just that, but especially being in the 80s, and also with copyrights and having music from other artists coming in, because in the 80s that was one of the big things, having a lot of artists have certain songs in your soundtrack. And in this one, it was an interesting concept, or an interesting collection of artists that they had. They had people like Rick Springfield, they had Motley Crue, Billy Idol, Scorpions, Go West. I mean, Go West was more of like an early 80s kind of pop band, and you're putting that up with some of the greatest of like classic rock and metal. It's like, oof, boy, you're doing something here, and you know what? It's actually a good thing, and props to you. Now, with all that being said, it's time to grade this film. Now, I'm not very biased on this one as much as I love Dario Argento's Suspiria. Demons, I wouldn't say I love the movie. It's an interesting film, but however, as I've said before, the second half of the movie does tend to drag on a little bit. However, the special effects and the acting and that sense of isolation alone definitely save this movie to keep the audience pretty much invested to watch it, even if it's just a one watch a year type situation. I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a B+. It is good, but there are a lot of things that they could have done better. However, they did make a sequel later on in around 1986, and it actually stars a young Asia Argento, Dario's daughter, who later on would be in the movie Triple X with Vin Diesel. And you know what? That one holds up just as good, if not better. However, this one does deserve a B+ in my eyes. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you leave a thumbs up. If you need to leave a thumbs down because you didn't agree with my opinions on the movie, that's okay. I can totally accept the constructive criticism. Other than that, we hope you share on social media, but most importantly, please ring that bell and also push that little red button. We need more subscribers, and if it weren't for viewers like you, we wouldn't be doing this stuff. So apart from that, I'm Wildman Wes. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for day 17 of Shocktoberfest 2021. Stay tuned, and as always, stay scared.